Hello, everybody. First of all, I just want to give my gratitude to Coach Beamer, Coach Tanner, and Chance Miller for giving me this opportunity to coach at this great university. You know, I've been on the sideline and been on the other end of a great atmosphere and electric fan base that's passionate about what they do. And it's you sit there and you say, wow, this is a great place. And for me, it's an honor to be a part of Coach Beamer's staff, because of the man he is, because of the type of coach he is. For me, it's awesome. And for my family, it's an honor just to be a part of this great university. So.
Open up for questions. Go ahead and introduce yourself as well, so James gets a chance to put a name with a face.
Howdy, James.
Howdy.
David Cloninger from the Charleston Post and Courier. How did this, first start? When did you and Shane start talking about getting over here? And what do you remember about him from your days at Georgia?
Yeah, started when there was a coaching change. At that time of the year, it's interesting. But I wanted to finish out the bowl game for Texas A&M, and he's a friend, first of all. So it's not the first time we've talked since we were at Georgia together. But from the first day at Georgia, you saw a guy who was driven and had all the qualities that I sat there and I said, this guy's going to be a head coach pretty soon. Organized, passionate about the players, always about the players first. So, you sit in a staff meeting for hours with a group of guys, you get to know who they are and you really find out who they are behind the scenes. So when these opportunities come about, for lack of better terms, it's a no-brainer at home. Everybody's like, absolutely.
James, Mike, you have a Gamecock Central. I know you're not a stranger to the transfer portal because this has been going on the last couple of years,
Right.
But having that experience from Texas A&M, you come to a place now where obviously all these faces are going to be new to you, but there's a lot of new faces here in general. What have you learned over the past couple of years to be able to help that transition, especially when you do have a bunch of guys who might not have necessarily come up together from that same recruiting class at that same school?
Right, you're talking about culture building and stuff like that. Yeah, it's really interesting because, 2 years ago you could be, visiting, a bunch of high school prospects and, maybe having someone get on campus or going to see one person. Nowadays, you're probably going to see some high school students who are about to graduate and go on to college, and your very next visit could be with a transfer. So different homes, and it could be with someone from your own team that you want to keep and make sure no one's trying to poach. So it's interesting. And then you got to bring them in a locker room, right? And they got to mesh, and it's hard. But when you're up front as a coaching staff, when your head coach stands in front of the team meeting like he did last week and explains why certain guys are on the team and introduces guys and gives them their background, word for word and, in very impressive way that the other guys realize, oh, okay, that's who this guy is. I see his story, let's welcome him. So there's a tact to all this, and some teams don't have a great tact. They throw them in the locker room. They say, we'll figure it out because the best players are going to play. And that could happen, or there could be issues in the locker room. So, yeah, it's interesting. Yeah.
Hey, James. Pete Iacobelli,
Pete.
Associated Press. What can people expect to see out of your receivers this coming year?
Yeah, I pride myself in the phrase change the game, and that can be from an 80-yard touchdown bomb to a slant where you make a guy miss that had a perfect angle on you and you score. It could be from a key block that springs a running back 80 yards. I'm saying that because running backs coach is in the room. But, those things change the game, right? So, when you see my guys on the field, our guys, you want to see a bunch of competitors. Not a lot of me guys. That'll come. Your me time will come. But competitors, guys that want to compete, they want to be the best in this conference, because if you're the best in this conference, you'll be the best in the country.
Hey, Coach, I'm Hale McGranahan with the Big Spur. With your current players, guys who are on the team right now, how much have you been able to study those guys, get to know them, speak to them, or have you been just kind of full steam ahead with recruiting and not on the road and all that stuff?
All of the above. Last week, I got a chance to sit with them and talk to them and give them a little rundown on my philosophy within that room, what coach expects from that room. Got to see them work out, so I've been, recruiting. So we're on the road. I've been tapping into certain guys, reaching out on, we got this group thread going on. It's pretty cool with the group. Got a bunch of good guys that they want to get better. So, they're responding, and it's hard when you're traveling. It's hard when you're out there and you're in certain towns, and you're going to see guys and your players, and you're the new guy. They're back home waiting to hear from you. So we try to do a good job communicating with them.
Alan Cole with GamecockScoop.com. Shane was in here a second ago talking about your relationship with Dowell, how that's already kind of developing. Did you know Dowell Loggins at all before you got here? And I guess if not, what were those first conversations like?
No, I didn't. So we know similar people from our past, guys that we've worked with. I was in the NFL for a couple of years. We knew some of the guys that were on those staffs. So, but never had a relationship with him prior to this stop. He's sharp. He's a real sharp guy. So I'm fired up to be around. He's been very welcoming, and really, to be honest with you, this staff is a bunch of great men. Very impressed with being around them, and very blessed.
And Nick Harbor is an outlier at 6'5", 230 or whatever he is, but most of your receivers currently on the roster profile about the same size, 5'10" to 6 foot. Well, how do you handle that as a position coach? Does that impact what y'all are going to do this year? And do you try to address maybe some size issues in the portal in the spring?
Yeah. Well, we see what's available. I always think you gotta, that's, people say that, like I'll say it, but at the end of the day, you want to have the best players. I don't know how tiring, the cheetah is, Tyreek, right? It's not very big, but he's impactful. He can change the game. So, it's great when you have someone like Nick that has that stature. It allows you to do a little bit more. You can take advantage. You can take advantage of personnel that way. But you can take advantage of personnel with the other guys too. Everybody has a trait. Everybody has some type of redeeming quality. What sets them apart, or what got them here, And you got to find out what that is and maximize that while you help them improve on this other areas. But you got to find out what that is so you can maximize on that. But yeah, it's always great if the whole room was like that. Then we'd walk out there first, right? Hey, receivers first. Let's go shake hands.
Yeah, Matt Vereen from Watch Fox TV here in town. Obviously, Coach Blackwell is also coming over from A&M. What can you tell us about him and your excitement to have him joining you here on staff as well?
Yeah, I mean, just, as a person, a competitor, wants what's best for his guys as far as doing things the right way where they can be the best guys on the field and on the team. So he pushes his group to be elite. He's an elite recruiter. I've gone against him on the recruiting trail before. He's good at what he does. Able to work with him, I can see his secrets. Trying to take a couple, but you're able to see why he's as good as he is doing what he does. But yeah, we got a great relationship. We're both from Florida. We got this Miami-Tampa rivalry going on, but it's pretty good.
Hey, James, Jordan Kay with the State newspaper. You've been around your entire career, some accomplished head coaches, Nick Saban, Jimbo, Kirby Smart. What draws you to Shane Beamer? And in your small time here, what do you like about how he runs a team? Yeah,
great question. Well, I've been, early in my career I was with Coach Bowden also, Bobby Bowden. So it's an interesting mixture of the guys you just said. Bobby was really big on, Coach Bowden was really big on the family. And you see that with Shane. you know, some of these other coaches were real big on organization. You see that with Shane. You also see something that was unique to me was his ability to know every player and know their history. Now I'm sitting at the team meeting, and I was really impressed on how he knew his team. He studied his players, even the guys that just got there. He knew their story. And I think that's huge. When you know someone's history and what it took to get them to that spot, you can help them that much more. And that's what we're all in business in. We're in business of obviously winning games, but helping these young guys to get to where they need to get to, and that's whatever their dreams, whatever their goals are. So it's hard to help somebody that you don't know. And sometimes coaches may know a player by name, may know, parents, but do you know the story? And sitting in that team meeting, I was really impressed because he knew the story. He knew the story on every single one of those guys, and they know he knows. So, yeah,